this week I wanted to share with you the deck lists that I have been playing as of late when I play MTG Arena. If you've been following my channel, you know that I have been playing Arena. I've been streaming it. I'm trying to slowly build a collection so that I can make more Magic content because I do enjoy the game. And I'm not quite to the point where I can build just any deck that I want, but we're getting close. Now, this week I'm going to feature 3 lists, and these are lists that I've been playing in Best of 1. I'm still playing Best of 1 largely because I just don't have the collection to support Best of 3. If I can't fully build a deck in Best of 1 the way that I want, I certainly can't build a deck and support the sideboard, at least as of yet. And for whatever reason, right now I feel like the meta in Magic, it might be the most expensive it's been in a very, very long time, just because even some of the budget decks take an awful lot of rares. And while there are decks that are budget friendly that exist, like Mono Red, and I will showcase my current version of Mono Red later this week, that's not every list, right? Like, just because Mono Red exists doesn't mean that your average deck isn't like chock full of rares. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are so many Planeswalkers in the meta, and then when you're not running Planeswalkers, the creatures you do run are typically very powerful creatures that are also rares. So anyway, I'm playing catch up. But we're going to start with Gruul. So this is the version of Gruul I've been playing. I really like the Raise Boar, and I wanted to build a deck that allowed me to abuse him. And it turns out that the Raise Boar is very, very good with Ronus as well. So this particular Gruul list I'm running Rhythm of the Wild in because giving the Raise Boar haste is important. You want to be able to play him and swing with him. If you have a Rhythm on the board and you play this into this, it's almost lethal just with those 2 creatures alone, not counting the rest of your board. Also, I'm running Rhythm of the Wild because, again, budget lists. I only own 1 Domri as of right now, and so if I wanted to run more, which is typically what Gruul runs in place of Rhythm, I can't. So I might as well just run Rhythm and try to abuse it with the Boar. The rest of the deck is pretty straightforward Gruul stuff. We've got Llanowar Elves and a couple of Druids here for your early game mana ramping. Some decks run Shock. I'm currently running Lightning Strike. I'm seeing more 3 health threats, so I still want to be able to get rid of things like Chain Whirler. Chamber Guardian is a fantastic 2-drop that kind of finds more 2-drops, and it jumps up to a 4/4, which is nice, and that's relevant, again, with things like Chain Whirler. Harpooner, Zarta, these are solid 2-drops as well. You're going to hear me mention Chain Whirler a lot, and again, that's because I've been playing Best of 1, and you do run into a fair amount of Mono Red in Best of 1, so you have to take that into account whenever you're building. Still have the Spellbreakers, 1 Chandra because I want card draw, and with so many Narsets running around, if you can find forms of card draw that aren't actually draw, you're better off. Same reason why I'm running the 1 Vivian, and I'm only running 1 ofs here because I only own 1. 4 Phoenixes, quality creature. 1 Ferox, mostly because I wanted another big body and I owned 1 of it, so there you go. Noticing a theme. And the rest is just lands. 4 of each of the duels, and then mountains and forests. There's a lot of 1 ofs here because I went through and I made it. Now that they give us the opportunity to, I went through and made it 1 of each of the different art styles, just because I'm a nerd. But nonetheless, this is the Gruul list I've been playing in Best of 1. So now that I've kind of went through it, we're going to go take it for a spin, show you a couple games, and demonstrate what the deck wants to do. So jumping into the first game on Gruul, we have an okay opener. We're on the play. We have a forest and a Llanowar Elf. It's kind of all you can hope for. It's a lawnmower elf, if you will. Let's hope it doesn't get immediately shocked or burned down, because recently I feel like it's just all Mono Red all the time, but we are hitting the latter parts of the ladder as far as the month goes. So it makes sense. Typically around this time you get all the people who procrastinated their climb, and they're like, all right, well, what's the fastest way to get there? I'll play Mono Red. And this month I'm just taking it off. We're not going to stress. Alright, so this tells me we're likely up against the 4-color Dreadhorde decks. We'll go ahead with a +1/+1 counter again. I'm also just going to attack with the lawnmower because there's no way they take this trade with the Paradise. And even if they do, I'm okay with that, if I'm being completely honest. puts me off the raise boar, but raise boar doesn't combine with anything at the moment. And this is a list that, if you let it, it will stabilize with Wild Growth Walker all over you. Alright. Or Teferi.
Slow this down.
Teferi's another way that it can stabilize.
Like it.
And we're just gonna take the haste this time around, because we don't want that to be a thing. Bit of a bummer. That's what Teferi does. He bums you out. Not a fan. I mean, I'm a fan when I'm playing it, but I'm not a fan of playing against it. Alright, so there's the Wild Growth Walker. And unfortunately, because I do not have the Magicka to respond and Lightning Strike that, they will gain 3 health and make that thing annoy the absolute piss out of me. Now, we're going to wait till after our attacks here. Because if they block with the Walker on the 3-3, we will Lightning Strike that off the planet. And to be honest, we're just going to make sure that it survives as well. Bummer that we had to use both, but I think a necessity at this point. Next turn, we're going to try to set up Rhythm so that we can get a hasty boar the following turn. Ooh, they're going to go find that. Now that is a problem for us because that means our Rhythm will absolutely get nuked here. And it also means that they kind of just negated everything we were hoping to do. Alright, well. Get our damage in. At least if they play the Vraska and nuke this, then that's like all they do and we still get pressure. So it's not the end of the world, but it is annoying. Now if they nuke one of these, then we just really, really, really want to top deck a land so we can get a hasty boar going. And that is not. Riots twice, essentially. We'll have this one try to get rid of Vraska. This one continue to pressure. And again, we're just a land away from the boar coming down. I love the animation that the boar has, but sadly we don't get there. The spell breakers are enough to get us the victory, and let's jump into another game. Jumping into the next game. I think I just said jumping. Let's ignore that. We're going first again. We have a lawnmower elf. Everything looks on the up and up. Let's say dive. We're diving into game 2 as opposed to jumping. And we're gonna play the elf. Sadly, we don't have a powerful 3-drop like immediately on hand here, but it's okay. We want the body. Wonder if we're up against mono blue here or not. Take our +1/+1 counter and try to get in there for 1. This thing looks very impressive for just being a tiny 1/1 that kind of pokes you, right? Look at those daggers. And it's not even just the one, it's Llanowar elves, right? There's 3 in this picture. It's like a whole squad of elves with these impressive daggers, and it's a 1/1. Meanwhile, this goblin with a spiky club is like 3 times as powerful as 3 elves. Alright, augur, huh? Augur to find a lightning strike. That does not bode well for us. So you might as well make some more bodies for just getting in here with this attack. I assume they're gonna sidestep. And one of our goblins is likely gonna eat this lightning bolt. The other option we had this turn would have been to play Phoenix, but wow. Interesting. Alright. Let's go ahead and declare our attackers. Again, we know they're sitting on the lightning strike, so we're trying to just bait that out if we can. Phoenix is pretty safe from lightning strike, so now that they've seen this is what our play is going to be. If they are going to use the strike, it's likely coming down. No, they're just going to hit us with a syncopate. Oh, counter magic. How dare you, red and blue player. Alright, lightning strike slows us down. Oh no! They're going to nuke both of them. We had lethal. If they only had the one lightning strike, we had lethal. Because we still had the ability to just give this haste and come on in, but Vivian gives us card draw, but I think right now we just want to generate more pressure, so at this point we'll give this the counter, takes it out of lightning strike range since we can't get in there for lethal. If we had a lightning strike of our own in hand, I would have considered giving it haste just to get him to the magic 3. But I think for now, just pressure. That's all Gruul really wants to do, right? You just want to play sizable threats and keep the pressure on them, keep the clock going. If you're watching me and you're normally a, Elder Scrolls Legends player, for example, this is basically mid-range, right? Like you're playing an on-curve deck where you want to play sizable threats. Okay. So they had that again. This tells me I think they're on the Is It combo deck with the expansions and RAL and so forth. Let's go ahead and get in for the attack first. And then we're going to go ahead and use Vivian for the card draw here. So we're going to give it the old -2.
There is wonder in a blade of grass.
And sadly, no creature cards here. I guess we'll just take the forest just to make them think that we got something. Because it is exile, like face down, but alright, they didn't find an answer for the Spellbreaker, so it doesn't matter. That's 2 games where I wanted to play the boar, and I never got to play the boar. But trust me, when you get to play the boar, it's very satisfying, and even more so if you have a rhythm and you can play it with haste. Very fun. This is Gruul. I've been enjoying it. I would like to get the cards to finish fine-tuning it. I think it has a lot of potential. But if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video.